If we're talking router tables, the conversation always has to go to the most important part of the router table, the fence. It moves around, it has to function, it has to be strong, it has to be square, adjustable, it has to be built to last. I've taken a little bit of a different approach. I want this to be as simple as possible, and that's why I made it, really simple, no bells and whistles. You often see T-tracks and other things that are a little bit harder to machine and don't really do as well on the job. So I've taken the KISS approach, the keep it simple, smart guy approach, and I'm going to share with you a few things about my fence. A fence has got to be solid, no flex to it. You don't want it to move around or anything. You want it to last for a long time. I built this out of solid hard maple, just 3/4 inch stock. I would tend to stay away from stuff like MDF particle board, that sort of thing. The next thing that's crucial for a fence is that when it's in use, it doesn't move on you. The last thing you want is to be machining something, pushing against the fence hard, and for it to slip on you, even a little bit. It's just awful. It'll ruin the workpiece. It could very well injure yourself. So, keeping with the keep it simple approach, a couple clamps, tighten them down, and before you know it, this fence is not going to move at all, guaranteed. If you have T-tracks, T-slot tracks in your router table's surface, they're not hard to machine, but they take some time. And you know what? They also don't provide as much of a lock between your fence and your table. Little knobs and stuff, they may be hard to adjust, and even if they're not hard to adjust, they're probably not going to be nearly as strong as a clamp. These things are bomb-proof. Use clamps. You also want to make sure that the fence, the face of the fence, is square to the table. There's going to be times where you machine a piece on end or its edge across the bit, and you want to make sure that joint is going to be machined square. Take sliding dovetail joints, for example. They've got to be square, and it's just something you have to account for when you're building the fence. The blocking behind the router table's fence has to be square, and it has to hold that fence in place. The fence should also be high enough so that when you are machining that piece on edge, you'll get some support from the fence. Just make that face a little bit wider. I've got about 5 inches or so. I wouldn't go any less than that. Even if you wanted to go 6 or something, that would be fine too. One of the benefits of a split fence is that you can adjust the depth of the fence to wherever you need. You can open up that fence a little bit and then position it right over that bit wherever you need to, and you can even bring it back together slightly to reduce any gaps. Dust collection also works a little bit better with a split fence. You get a bit more airflow, and dust collection is a big deal even in a small shop. So anything you can do to improve that is time well spent. As I was saying, the construction of this fence is really straightforward. You've got this base piece that runs the whole length of the fence. Then you have this sub face that also runs the whole length of the fence. You've got some blocking in here to keep it square. And then you have your two split fence faces on there. So to make any adjustments to this fence, loosen both those knobs off and things can slide back and forth, no problem. Both of the split fences running grooves. I can take things right off here for you. As you can see, this is just a normal bolt. Pops through there, slides in this groove in the sub fence, and then it's just a couple of washers with tri nuts. Go on there, tighten things up really nicely. When you're setting up your rotor table with the split fence, you want to position the fence in the proper location. In this case, it'll be right in line with this bearing. And then you want to bring the fence together as much as possible to reduce that gap in there. Just like so. Now, as you can see, my split fence has been used enough that larger bits have actually machined into the corners of these split fences, removing a little bit of the material. That's fine. A little bit of a gap there isn't a big deal. You may find, if you have a brand new split fence and you're using it, that you have to ever so slightly round the edge here. As you push a piece across, there's a slight chance that it will get caught on that edge. Ever so slightly round that over. So you might be saying to yourself right now, without that T-slot groove along there, how do I clamp feather boards to this fence? Really, really easily. Grab some clamps, make a feather board, clamp it right there, you have a feather board the whole length. Another way to add feather board is to have a longer feather board or shorter feather board. You can clamp it right to the fence or right to the table. Either way will work really well and help you out, make it a bit safer, a bit easier on you as well. Something else you can do is make a, I mean, you talk about simple. Here's a piece of scrap that I've drove a screw into. If your operation that you're doing, you only want to machine that joint so far, clamp that there. You can adjust that, micro adjust with a screwdriver, machine your piece along until it hits that screwdriver, that screw, and you're good to go. Now, another benefit of a split fence is the fact that if the bit you're using removes the entire edge of a piece of material, you can shim your outfeed fence a little bit out, very similar to a jointer, so that it will, the workpiece will remain in contact with your fence the whole time and be supported. So a good fence really is the most important part of a router table. It's going to make your operation safer. It's going to make your workpieces machine a little bit more accurately, and it's also going to be really easy to adjust, making your work a little bit better as well. If you have any questions at all about what I've done here, or why I've done something, or why I shouldn't have done something, let me know. Send me an email. You can make a comment at the end of this video. Either way, I'd love to hear from you about what you guys and ladies think of this fence.